Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Tuesday, November 15th. I'm Scott Squires, in for Kate Walker. We begin our Tuesday in Eastern Passage, where an early morning fire damaged a duplex. SaltWire's Nicole Monroe has more.
Halifax regional firefighters were called to a duplex on fire in Eastern Passage Tuesday morning. Assistant Fire Chief Kevin Dean said around 7:45 a.m., multiple crews responded to the blaze on McKay Lane.
Crews arrived. It was a fully involved structure fire. It's a duplex, 2 units. They immediately went into a defensive operation, which means they fought it from the exterior. There's no injuries. Everybody got out safe, and the fire investigation is on the way.
With temperatures dropping and flu activity rising across the country, the Public Health Agency of Canada says an influenza epidemic has started. Combined with long wait times at crowded emergency rooms in the province, masking has become a hot-button issue. SaltWire took to the streets of Halifax to hear some opinions on the subject.
Well, I think we are still in the zone where we have to be cautious. Now walking outside when I'm not passing a lot of people, I don't wear my mask, but I have it in my pocket. And if I'm in a mall or any place where there's a high density of people, I'll continue to use my mask.
I would mask up.
I think we're kind of past that. I know hospitals are still really busy, but I'm just not convinced that masks are the answer, especially for children, actually.
I just think it's safer for everyone if we do that, and being that the pandemic is still hugely with us, I think it's important to take as many precautions as we feel comfortable with. Although I'm comfortable if other people aren't wearing, it's up to them, but for me, I feel more comfortable with a mask.
Because we still have an issue with the various strains of COVID. It's not over yet, so for me, I'll still be cautious.
I think that children just aren't able to wear their masks properly, so I don't think there's any use in them masking up. I mean, maybe there's an argument to be made that adults should mask because children are vulnerable and they can't, but yeah, I'm hoping we don't go there this winter, actually.
I think it's appropriate. Actually, I have a mask when I go indoors. I've been fully vaccinated, got vaccinated for the flu, and I'm a senior citizen. The mandate part, I don't know, but that's what I personally do.
A shortage of children's pain and fever medication on pharmacy shelves has forced many parents and caregivers to look for alternatives. Late yesterday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said relief is on the way, announcing the Government of Canada has secured a foreign supply of acetaminophen for kids that will be available at stores and pharmacies as soon as possible. Health Canada didn't say how much medication was coming, but they did suggest Canadians buy only what they need. The full Health Canada statement is available online at canada.ca. In Atlantic Canada, the top stolen vehicle of 2021 was the Ram 1500 series of pickup trucks. In 2022, thieves are getting tech-savvy. Nicole Monroe has more on the technology of theft.
People driving off in stolen vehicles in Atlantic Canada don't necessarily have their eyes set on a specific vehicle type. According to the top 10 most stolen vehicles of 2021, the Ram 1500 series was the most stolen vehicle among the 4 Atlantic provinces. But other models of pickup trucks, cars, and even a van were targeted by thieves. The 2014 to 2018 model of the Chevrolet GMC Silverado Sierra 1500 series took the number 2 spot on the top 10 list for Atlantic Canada. The Honda Civic and Ford F-150 were also popular choices among thieves, as well as the Chevrolet Cruze, Chrysler Town & Country, and Hyundai Elantra. Over the past few years, people have switched to stealing newer models of vehicles because they're able to exploit their technology. These are reprogramming key fobs to gain access to people's vehicles. Then, vehicles are often exported internationally. In Halifax for the SaltWire Network, I'm Nicole Monroe.
With the annual Christmas tree harvest in full swing around Nova Scotia, SaltWire went to visit McLeod Christmas Tree Farm in Pictou County.
For half a century, Ruth McLeod has been growing Christmas trees on an old farm in rural Pictou County. On Monday, she was trimming brush with her sister, Patty Hudson, for some of the 200 wreaths they'll weave with members of her extended family over the coming weeks.
Use that, so we got a nice pile here. This particular brush size here is for a bigger wreath. But if you're making a smaller wreath, you'd want something about this size for something with it.
With the trees cut, graded, baled, and waiting for the trucks to bring them down to their ultimate destination in American living rooms, it's about to get real busy on the McLeod Christmas tree farm. Between November 24th and Christmas Eve, some 1,000 people will travel up the Millstream Road to pick and cut their own balsam fir. Many of the families have been coming for at least 3 generations. What's your favorite kind of Christmas tree? What kind of Christmas tree will you have?
Oh, I'll definitely have a balsam fir tree. And my tree is 10 feet. And it stands in the middle of my living room. And sometimes we've had trees in my living room that you can barely walk around. Lifting these trees all day. They got to be dragged out of the woods after they're cut, and they got to be held up for the grader when they're grading them according to their height. And then they got to be lifted on top of the baler, and then they got to come off the baler. It's like firewood. It's handled many times.
This is Aaron Beswick reporting for the SaltWire Network.
I've had people ask me to pick out a tree for them, and I just say, it's better that you pick out your own, because everybody has an idea of what the perfect tree looks like.
It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with Halifax stand-up comedian Carolyn Davis about cancel culture.
For you, the intersection of comedy, and we briefly were chatting yesterday in this idea that philosophy and comedy and, the modern day philosopher versus the modern stand-up comedian. Are we putting too much pressure on stand-up comedians to be a representation of our society, do you think?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be a really boring interview if I get one-word answers. But no, I appreciate it. Okay, so why? Tell me why you might feel that way.
Well, I'd like to back it up just a little bit and just say that as soon as you use the term counterculture or cancel culture, sorry, not counterculture, cancel culture, immediately you'll get some people's backs up because it's often been used as the right to criticize the left. So I try to keep those buzzwords out of things. But are comedians under a lot more
scrutiny?
Scrutiny? Sure, thank you.
No worries.
I should have had another coffee before this interview. There's no doubt about it that we are. But I think the question is, why are we? And I think the reason that we are is the advent, of course, social media, being able to share things on a cell phone so easily, and especially being able to share small bits of our performances out of context.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of saltwire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire. Coach Gary Waterman and the St. Francis Xavier X-Men football team have won their second consecutive Loney Bowl, beating Mount Allison 21-14. Coach, how good does it feel to have another Loney Bowl?
Oh, I mean, it's a great feeling. And we tell our players all the time, it's hard to win football games. And some of your, think about in-conference play. You usually often recruit the same players in competition against your conference teams, and you play each other so many times. There's a familiarity with each other. So it's hard to win in your conference and win the conference championship. So, I tell them, enjoy it because it's not easy to do. And we're definitely grateful to have won back-to-back.
Coach Waterman and the X-Men host the Saskatchewan Huskies this Saturday in the UTEC Bowl. On to weather now. To see what's coming up in the forecast, we're going to check in with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders. Alistair?
Thank you, Scott. Well, it was a brighter day today here in HRM. Winds were lighter, but it was still breezy. And with temperatures cool today, there certainly was a bite in the air. Now, there is more wind to talk about and some wet weather also on the horizon. This evening, it will be partly cloudy and the temperature near the freezing mark, and then we wake up near -4 on Wednesday morning, a bit warmer along parts of the coast, mainly cloudy. And as we go into the afternoon, we'll see cloudy skies with periods of rain developing. Now, the temperature will be near 6 degrees, but some models have temperatures bumping down slightly inland as we head towards the evening. So initially, there may be some wet flakes mixing in inland. However, this won't be significant. This is mostly a rain event here for the Halifax area, and that rain will continue continue as we go through Wednesday night. About 10 to 20 millimeters of rain on the way, and then southeast to southwest winds of 40 up to 60 kilometers per hour. It is a fast-moving system, so we clear to a chance of showers as we go into and through Thursday. It will be windy, though, as we go through the rest of the week, so you'll want to keep the jacket handy. Scott.
Thanks, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at SaltWire Today. I'm Scott Squires. Thank you for spending some time with us on SaltWire Today. We'll see you back here tomorrow.